Hey up everyone, what's going on and welcome back to York City, where I am afraid I have to start with some very sad news. Callum NICELL did not find a new club. However, he has turned staff. Yes, that's right, we have offered him the job. He wants to be a scout, he's not particularly brilliant, he's very adaptable. But the even better news is I persuaded my board to give me more scouts, so I don't even need to get rid of anyone. So fingers crossed, in the next few days, Callum NICELL will be back at the club. Just in the staff department. It's only really been gone 6 months. So hopefully that confirmation comes through in the next few days. But since we last met, of course, the 3-2 loss against PSG, we weren't beaten again in those next 5 games. We beat Leeds 2-0 away from home. We beat Chelsea 2-1 at home. Betis, we beat 3-2 in Spain. Were those the only 2 shots on target for them? You're damn right they were. 2 set pieces as well. And then 4-2 against West Brom. It wasn't their only 2 shots on target. They did have a few more than that. However, it was incredibly dominant on our side. And their late consolation goal was the most ridiculous rebound I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so Foreman's just gathered the ball here. Now, the guy that's highlighted on this near side here, Varaldo, is the one who scores. Bear in mind, of course, I've just called this one of the most ridiculous rebounds I've ever seen in my life. Place your bets on how it ends up at him. Because here's Foreman, there's Foreman, he's just lining himself up. He's gone for, I don't know what it was actually, it didn't look like a shot. But yeah, it comes off Rick, it comes off Foreman, and ends up at Varaldo's feet. Somehow, miraculously, lasered at him. Well, it mattered, of course. 4-2, we still won it. I kind of like the fact it's ended up on this page, because now I can show you Gonzalez and Carpentier. 13 goals apiece so far this year. Our strikers are on form. We were a little bit worried about Gabriel Godoy, but no, he's got 10 goals now as well. And I'll be honest, it's the same deal for our loanee lads. 10 goals for Silva. Fitter's doing alright at Freiburg, 18-16 starts. And then there's this lad, who we've loaned at our affiliate club, Groningen, who has 17 goals in 16 appearances. Now don't get me wrong, he's not good enough to be playing in the Premier League, but promising if we were continuing with this. Very promising indeed. Well, we are the lunchtime kickoff against Liverpool today. That's where we start things off. Just a little look at the league table. We are unbeaten still. That's still in the balance. 13 wins, 2 draws. Forgot to finish off the run through there with West Ham, but that was 2-2. We were the better side there as well. A little bit disappointing that we drew, but a draw is not the end of the world. It does keep us unbeaten, thank God. But you can see there, our history against Liverpool pretty much exactly equal. Also, you've got to bear in mind with recent results as well, the fact that we've had to rotate a little bit just because of the sheer amount of games we've having to be playing right now. So drawing away at West Ham, not ideal, but it wasn't full strength. But we do get to return to what I regard as my first 11 this particular year. Saxton versus Kovalev is really interesting because Saxton's theoretically worse, but is regarded as a better player star rating wise. And actually, if you go on the actual attributes, it's not a lot in it. You know, defensively, Dimitri's got a fair amount of an edge there. Going forward, Saxton has a slight advantage. Mentally, in the roles for complete wing-back, Saxton has got the edge, and physically, Dimitri's got the edge. So it's pretty much 50-50 on all that front. This makes it look so much more in Dimitri's favour, even though the star rating's the other way around. Can't really explain it. But the one attribute that really matters when it comes to these guys is long throws. 17. 17 for Bradley, as we saw against PSG. So the lineup today is Christian, Saxton, Moena, Azarta, Fiore, Vidarson and Seri in the middle. I've changed that to attacking playmaker, by the way, as the base thing. Obviously, still manipulated slightly, but it's essentially the role that gives the most players the most green overall. That still gives me the instructions that I want overall, basically. So it just makes the star rating look slightly less weird. Carpentier and Cantoro and Godoy and Gonzalez. It's the alliterations on the front lines again. Kind of forgot to mention Liverpool. They're not playing particularly well this year. They're in 11th. I can also see they're not playing their first choice wingers. They're not even on the bench. Curious. Edison Garcia in their back line is not a first choice centre back either. What's happened here? I mean, the usual partner is McGee. He's on the bench. A little tired. That's what's happened there then. Okay. Yes, they've not brought either winger. They haven't brought Blatt or Chris Carolla, who appear in the season preview thing as, you know, team of the league. Davila is absolutely knackered at left back. Liverpool were in the top 4 last year, so they were in the Champions League, but the Champions League match was a week and a half ago. I'm fairly certain the entire Premier League played the same time we did midweek as well. So I can't quite understand how they are so much more tired than we are. Gonzalez near post, straight in, simple. Seri just dinks it out wide here to Fiore. And I don't know why I've added an A on that, but yeah, Fiore, Gonzalez heads it in, near post, no problem. Byron Davila is absolutely knackered. He must have played every single game. Like, obviously, we've got the advantages of being able to swap our left back if we want. That was a terrible goal kick from the goalkeeper there. I don't know if the highlight was from the corner or if it's about to actually happen now. Trent's got in the way of that. And despite the fact Laloya is number 8, Renato Black is, of course, the first choice right back. He's one of the best players in the damn league. Carpentier is clean through here. He's got past Trent. He's in goal. He's on goal. He's scored a goal. 14 for him now. 14 for both of them, in fact, because Gonzalez with the first one. It's not even Christmas. Yeah, 14 for Carpentier, who's often played on this left-hand side. Gonzalez with 14 in the striking, and then 10 for Godoy as well. Top of the table, still actually interrupted by Norwich, by the way, in case you were intrigued on what was going on over there. Norwich still in that top 4. Sheffield United and Leeds 7th and 8th right now, 21 points. Level with Chelsea and Everton, goal difference presumably the factor there. Saxton, though, on this left-hand side. Quite a shuffle, actually, this year, in total. West Brom still thereabouts, challenging for that 7th. Still quite early days, though. Quite a lot of teams close to that 21 points. I mean, realistically, you go all the way down to Watford in 19th. They're only 2 points away from 7th, which is kind of weird. I may have just said 19th rather than 19 points. But yeah, 14th, 7th to 14th are separated by 2 points. It's interesting. Yeah, West Ham was 16th. We drew with them somehow. Fiore comes into the box, not quite. Clarence Seedorf is Liverpool manager this season, by the way. Carpentier, that's gone in. Considering where Liverpool are on the table, I wasn't expecting quite, the same fight we normally get from them. Because clearly something's going on at Anfield this year. Like in terms of 7th, they're not far off the pace. Only 1 point off 7th, despite being now 12th because of goal difference. But in terms of 4th and getting back into the Champions League again, they are quite a way off that. 10 points the gap. If they lose here, I mean, they are going to lose here, let's be real. Unless there's a massive comeback in the second half. Like, they need to pull out an Istanbul here. Seri with a free kick, and this could get a little embarrassing, really. Not quite from Cantoro there. I'll be honest, the game's not rife with highlights, but the highlights we've had have all been goals, almost. Esposito's found a gap and exploited it. He's scored. It's a bit awkward. Despite their positions, despite their seeming troubles, Esposito does have 11 goals for the season. It's not like the striker's not been firing for them. Now they're sort of fairly long time number 9, actually. Ever since Esposito usurped Harry Kane for the number 1 spot in their side, or the number 9 shirt, we should say, he's been pretty much a stalwart in their front line since then. Godoy, ambitious and terrible at the same time. And very occasionally you just get a highlight where Godoy smashes it 9 miles wide, and I don't know why. Ramirez comes on for Godoy, who's not been playing particularly well today, and obviously the entire front line shuffles as a result. That's gone in. It's Carpentier. It's a hat-trick for Carpentier again. Second one this year, I'm pretty certain. But it's coming from a Bradley Saxton long throw, and, well, there we are. It's happened again. The goalkeeper's flapped. Can't really deny the goalkeeper's flapped there, but yeah. And it's still one of those weird situations. The European game midweek actually doesn't matter, by the way. We are through. We are qualified. Bellingham for Seri, who's on the lowest level of fitness, and Xiaonan's on some kind of international duty at the end of November, early December. Not quite sure. I know occasionally there's some kind of Asian thing that comes in December, January time, but it might just be earlier this year, for whatever reason. Well, now he's got a hat-trick. He is a bit tired, is Carpentier, so we'll bring on Vidal and, pull him back. This is pretty much what we've reduced Vidal to. I did shift to the old formation with Vidal in against Chelsea because we know what he likes about Chelsea. Put in a 6.3 or 6.4 performance to Vidal, so straight back to the 4-2-4. I'm so mad I didn't accept 117 million for him from Milan now. 117 million I could have got for him. The way Vidal just stopped playing football, I still can't work out what happened, what changed. Trent does well there, despite, well, being absolutely exhausted. Esposito's clean through. Again, he's gone wide though. There's opportunities to make it slightly less embarrassing. And maybe save himself a position on goal difference, but nope. Last minute of the game, in theory, Ben Berry gets the ball here. I love that name. Casa, who is too short to be a centre-back, but they do persevere with him. It's one of those situations where his stats are far too good and the AI just play him there, but he is a defensive midfielder. And it's not like Liverpool have been terrible in previous years or anything like that. It's not like they've been defensively frail. They've been actually quite defensively quite good with him. But Casa is too short to be a centre-back in general. Cantoro, though, whips another one in. It's on target. And 15 shots on target. You probably feel a little bit aggrieved to only scored 4. But yeah, that was very good. Well played. And in the league, it's 28 unbeaten. Of course, the PSG loss stopped it in general, but league-wise, we're still going strong. So we were the lunchtime kickoff, which does mean the situation for 7th has resolved a little bit more. 24 points for 3 teams, and it's not quite as tight as a result anymore. But Liverpool do have a game in hand, so they're not like they're too far away. I say game in hand. So do Norwich and Sheffield United here. This fight for 3rd and 4th, by the way, if this stays like this all season, it's going to be fascinating. But let's be real, unless we cock it up dramatically, we're on course for the title. And it's a slightly weird feeling as well, because we normally have a couple of losses at the beginning of the season, which requires us to sort of catch up a little bit. Oh yeah, end of contract deal here, by the way. Malinovsky from Rangers. No real reason to cite him other than the fact he's probably going to be worth quite a lot. He's regarded as some of the other strikers. We don't need more strikers, but it's free. Also, because he's from Rangers, he's got British citizenship and doesn't need to be registered. Should that ever need to be a factor if we continue the save on a stream. And there it is! Callum NICELL has agreed. I've said it the wrong way. Callum NICELL has agreed to be a scout. Accept. Welcome back, Callum. Welcome back. NICELL is no stranger to York. Damn straight he isn't. Damn straight he isn't. Recommend me a signing, Callum. Come on, let's show me what you got. Norwich had a game because they hadn't played. They'd just beaten Arsenal to go 3rd. So I say this match doesn't really matter in the sense that we are already through to the next round. Obviously, it does matter in terms of seeding, because we will presume that PSG are going to beat Betis now. So ideally, we would like to finish top of this group, just because in theory it does provide you with weaker opposition in the next round, although in last few years we've always ended up with a big team anyway. Although I think most of that might be because we've had typically quite a fairly easy group ourselves, which means obviously there's more likelihood we end up fighting a big team from another group. Whereas this time, of course, we've got 2 of the teams that we would normally like to avoid in the second round, which in theory makes the rest of the draw weaker. You know, the more I look at this, the more I want to do this for this match. Get a few people who haven't played some game time. Screw it, we're going to play 4-3-3. I just feel like it, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, this is partially because I know we aren't qualified, and I think this squad is going to do as well, and the wingers in particular are a little bit tired and also aren't playing particularly well. Either Ramirez or Yurchenko, who I would have played in this match if we stuck with the wingers. It's partially that, and it's partially the fact that if I play some of these players now, and we do win, they'll get Champions League medals, which they wouldn't have done otherwise. Because I'm not entirely certain if I've played them already. Christian's going to be in goal, Saxton, Moreno, Rick and Shao on the right-hand side, stepping in for slightly tired Fury, not too bad. Boyle, I'm going to say that differently every time. Grimes, Seri, Godoy, Dahl and Gonzalez. Keeping the strikers, though. No substitute goalkeeper this time. It's not really necessary. I do like to keep them for the Champions League group stages. Oh, sad news on the Dahl front, by the way. In terms of the Norway thing, they did actually formally cap him before I had a chance to persuade him back to England. So yeah, if we do continue this stream-wise, then yeah, we won't have the services of Dahl in our England squad. Oh my god. Sorry, I just glanced over and realised how dark it was. Normally I have an issue where my camera makes everything brighter than it actually is. But no, it was actually showing how dark it is this... I'll just say, I'm recording this around noon. So, in case you're ever wondering what it's like to live in the north, that's what it's like. It's part of the reason why I moved over here, is because it's just brighter in the living room than it is in the cell. That's a great move by Dortmund. A great save by Christian. It did almost deserve a goal. Godoy on the end of this one. Not quite, though. PSG are beating Betis. That's awkward. So we do need to win. Somehow we've sneaked to first in the overall reputation in Europe. I didn't see it happen, but it did. Rick plays it to Morena. All the way back to Christian. Saxton is found on this left-hand side. Saxton's still number 22 after all this time. Seri. It's just because Castillo had number 5. And obviously we sold him quite late on after the numbers were decided. Morena. It's why Moreno ended up with number 5. Normally I like to keep 3 and 4 as the centre-backs. Which they are, in fairness. There's Arthur and Rick are 3 and 4. and Fiore's number 2 at right back. So my back line was correct for what I liked, but then obviously we sold Castillo. I know numbers, people get weirdly finicky about numbers. And yeah, I like to keep my numbers sort of straight. Like obviously goalkeeper's number 1, back line are numbers 2 through to 5, midfielders typically 6 to 8-ish, and then the front 3, 9, 10 and 11 in some shape or form. Striker number 9. When you have more than one striker, things get a little bit blurry there. But Dahl, oh, lovely finish by Dahl there. It's only the second shot on target. It's only the third shot on target in the game. It's his second goal for the season for us. He's not played, obviously, a dramatic amount. Played a few times in the under-23s. He's only 18, 19. Lovely instinctual finish. First time, far corner. You love to see it from a young lad. I mean, the future's bright. I say the future's bright as if Godoy and all that lot are like 29 or something. They're all early 20s. So it's not Gonzalez's best game. Jamie Harvey's on the bench. He can come on. We might get him a go. I can't believe I've had to put the bloody light on at noon. Sometimes, I mean, Yorkshire's lovely. Don't get me wrong. The scenery's lovely if you drive out for a little bit. But dear God, can it just be grey? There's a lovely phrase, I think it's in Very British Problems, where they talk about a weather system called sort of 50 Shades of Grey, where you can't tell where the sky ends and the pavement begins. That's just Leeds. That's Leeds like 90% of the time. Godoy's back post, goal. 11 goals for the season now. Assist by Shout. Love it. It seems to be one of those days today. But yeah, Broyle springs it out over there. Chow just holds it up and then almost like teases the defender there. It's like they're playing a game of chicken. Like, am I gonna, boof. There we are. Problem solved. We actually have a worse goal difference than PSG, but of course we've scored one more goal against them than we conceded it overall. It was 3-1 at home and 3-2 away. Now it's all quieting down this one, 75 minutes on the clock. We'll get Harvey on, just in case he hasn't played yet, I'm not sure. Now you know what, we're bringing Washington on out of seemingly nowhere. And then also, I think we'll make all 3 changes actually. We'll bring... Seri's played a lot, of course, in recently, so Bellingham comes on for Seri. It's 2-0 now. We can come off attacking as well. We'll just go back to balanced. We'll shout at them. So we'll just praise them, actually. That might fire them up. We're 2-0 to the good, so praise should fire. Long throw. Does actually end up at Dahl's feet. He's hit the post. Oh, bless. The fact he's 19 there just really factored into my response to that situation. I was like, oh, bless, he's tried. Like it was Sunday League. Really even game. We're just more clinical in the end. I fear... Hang on, sorry, has Chalobah just become manager of Watford? Fulham. He's taken the Fulham job. I just saw him took a job. Football manager. Yeah, I kind of figured Moreno might get a little bit jaded at some point. Just because he doesn't tire out as quickly as Azarta, so he's usually the one that stays in the team every time. Which is a little bit awkward because we have about 8 left-sided defenders. And only Rick, who is predominantly right foot. Azarta isn't predominantly right foot, he's just better. But that's a really good victory considering the players that came into that squad there. I'm really, really not sure where we come back. Norwich might actually be on the cards for an episode considering how they're doing this year. So maybe early January is an idea. The Sheffield United game at the end of January is one I definitely wanted to do. Sheffield-York derby is still Yorkshire, isn't it? So I kind of want to do that one at some point. But we might just do Norwich. We'll work it out. Might be transfer business, of course. Until then, ta-ra.